So it was like we were in a mess. My stepdad had had an accident. My mom had just miscarried. There was really no money and all. So I went to the parish priest then to like ask for help. This priest now said that that he wanted me to follow him to Ekpe. Because it was a church thing, I was excited. And then I asked him that when I'm ready to sleep, where will I sleep? By this time, his hand was on my lap. He was already like touching me, and because I was wearing a dress, he was pulling my dress up. He had pushed me on the bed. It was painful. It was scary, but there was nothing I could have done. I just felt like it would be easier if he just goes ahead and do it so that I can just live there. I was in a place where nobody knew me.
Hi, viewers. Welcome back to the SafeHub, that safe space where you can speak, where you can be heard, and of course, where you can heal through the support of our expert therapists. On today's episode, our guest will be taking us through a story of how she was molested. Sit back, relax. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. Before we get into the story, can you run us through what childhood was like for you?
Um, I don't even know where to start. I think I would say I'm from a home where my mom and my dad were separated. I grew up with my mom.
Okay.
Um, my dad um, claimed that she was seeing someone else, and then it just became a rumble. I was pretty young at that time, so it was just stories that I was told. So when they separated, my dad wanted to take me from what I heard, but my mom insisted, and then my mom took me. So I lived with my mom. And then I later I heard my dad remarried, but I got to meet him when I was a bit older, when I was about 12. That was about but of course we're talking on the phone, often, but we didn't have like a relationship like that. So it was yeah, pretty much that kind of childhood. Grew up with my mom. I was the only child she had until she remarried, but she didn't have a child for her husband, my stepdad. After about I think 13 years, she gave birth to my half brother. So it's just been me, my half brother, and one of our cousins that grew up, with us. So I consider him as a brother as well. So basically, I would say it's been me, my mom, and my two brothers ever since. Yeah.
All right. So, thank you for sharing that with us. What do you want to tell us? What's your story?
Um. Okay. So, like I said, growing up, I grew up, bouncing from one church to the other, because my mom was looking for a child. So, we're going to different churches. And because I was pretty much very young, wherever she goes, we all go with her as well. So, um, we can change church like 2 or 3 times in a year. But then we had like, like a fallback church, where I would say that we're Catholics, because that's usually like the last, resort. We would bounce off from this church, in search of miracle and whatever. And then after a while, we would return. Again, the Catholic church was like close to the house. So it was also easier, everybody in like most people in the area go to the church. So it was a bit more like an area church
Community
kind of,
church.
yeah. So I would say like we're raised Catholics. um because my dad wasn't around, my mom, before she remarried, was mostly at work. She was a tailor. We had like a shop. So most times she would go to the shop and then we would be at home. So most times I would go for block rosary. I go for there's an association called the Holy Childhood Association, for like younger children. So it's like you go there first and then you graduate like into the block rosary.
All
But
right.
it doesn't mean that you would leave the Holy Childhood. You can still be going to the Holy Childhood, So yeah. So then we used to act, when it's Easter or Christmas, we would act, drama and all of that in church. So that was, the kind of home that I grew up in, so, and the kind of church. So even though we're going to different churches, I was always like in the Catholic church with my brothers as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I would say it started when my stepdad was transferred to Lagos. I was about um, I was about 16 at the time.
Where were you living at that time?
We're living in Osun State. We're
Okay.
living in Oshogbo. He was a police officer, so we moved around a lot. Or sometime we're in Ibadan for a bit, and then, but we stayed in Oshogbo the longest. So when he was transferred to Lagos, I was new in Lagos, so I was looking for like, church to go to that I could like belong. So the Catholic church was like the easiest place for me because I was already used to, I did go to other churches, but I couldn't find I couldn't fit in. Again, we're not exactly rich. So I remember I went to a particular church, and by the time I entered the church, most of the young people there were putting on suits and they were looking all prim and proper. And me, I was a jeans and t-shirts girl, so I didn't quite fit in. So I went back to the Catholic church. And again, because I was already used to being a Catholic, it was easy for me. So I joined the youth department. I also joined the board of lectors. So like the lectors are the people who take like the Bible reading on Sunday.
Okay.
So I joined that as well. I became very active in the church. And then something happened um, where we were living. We're living in a place like a face me, I face you. So they sold the place. And when they sold the place, they gave us about 3 months to evacuate the building because the new owner was going to demolish. That time things were a bit difficult. She was trying for a child and she had just miscarried. So it was like a difficult time. My stepdad had spent monies on medical bills and all of that. And then he traveled to Ibadan because even though we were in Lagos, he was still shuttling between Oshogbo, Ibadan, and Lagos. So sometimes he would be in Oshogbo, sometimes he would be in Ibadan, sometimes he would come to Lagos, but mostly in Lagos. So that particular period, it was 2008. It was in 2008 because we moved in Lagos towards the end of 2007. So 2008 Easter, I think Easter was like around April that year. So my stepdad had traveled to Ibadan. It was the Holy Week. So I was part of the people acting as Mary in the youth department. So normally when you act as Mary, we would do like in Easter, we'll do like a procession around the area. So if it's in Ikeja, for example, you do a procession around Ikeja. If it's in Ikoyi, we'll do like a procession around. So I was acting as Mary in church that period. So we heard that my dad had an accident in Ibadan, and my stepdad, sorry, I'm used to calling him my dad, he had an accident in Ibadan, and when they called us, they told us he was in coma and all of that. So my mom had to travel. So it was like when a mess. My stepdad had had an accident. My mom had just miscarried. There was really no money and all. So I went to the priest because we're also trying to save up money to rent a new apartment. So I went to the parish priest then to like, okay, that this is because they know me. I was like very popular. It was not the first time I was acting as Mary. So like almost all the priests knew me. I used to go to um the priest's house. So they had this like a house where they stay in. So I was frequent. I would go there, sit with them, gist, help them around and all of that. So I went like, okay, for to like ask for help, like, okay, we're trying to raise money. And so the parish priest was the person, he was like the most senior parish priest. So he was really nice, like he was welcoming and all of that. He heard everything I had to say. And then they were able to raise some money for me. They were raised about 170,000 for me that time. So I took the money. Also, because of that experience, I became even more comfortable and free, around the priest. So that period, we had a guest priest that came from another parish. And from a guest, we now later heard that he was transferred. So I became closer to him because he was much younger than the parish priest. So we could relate, then if I was having relationship issues, he was the one I would tell, so it became like, I wouldn't say like a father, it became like a big brother because the brothers I have were like, younger ones. So he became like a big brother for me. So it was easy for me to relate with him. And then it happened that one afternoon, we wanted to, sometimes in the youth Sion, we travel to like other parishes. If there's like a central event happening, we can maybe like a congress or something, we can travel. They'll select some people and then we can travel and all of that. So this priest now said that that's the new one, the one I'm relating with, now said that, oh, that he wanted me to follow him to Ekpe. Well, since I was in Lagos, I had not traveled out of Lagos, not even to Ogun State. So he was like, oh, that I should follow him to Ekpe, that there was and like a youth event happening in Ekpe that he was going for, and that he was going to select some of us to go with him. Okay. Of course, I was excited, I was happy, because one, I had never traveled to outside Lagos, and because it was a church thing, I was excited. So he gave me the day that we're going to travel. It was like during the week. And that I had finished my secondary school. So I was at home, writing jam and waiting for jam and all. So I wasn't really going anything. I was working though. I was working in a boutique, but I could take excuse. So when he told me, I took excuse for 3 days because we're going to be going on Wednesday and coming back on Saturday. So I had told my mom, and because my mom knew that I was always doing stuff in church, everybody knew me in church, she didn't fret, and she knew the priest, so it wasn't a big deal. Plus, he's a reverend father, so it's not a big deal, right? So um, he now said that I should come and meet him at the park. I thought that, I was going to go with him from the church because, maybe there'll be like a church bus or a church vehicle that will carry all of us. Mm-hmm. So he said, no, that I should come and meet him at the park. It was a beggar. I remember very well. It was a beggar bus stop. That time they've not done this. The bridge was not here. So it was at the bus stop. So I went to the park. He was at the park, and all of that. And then he now paid for my transport. He didn't follow me.
Okay.
So he paid for my transport and told the driver where we were going to. So when I now asked him that, okay, what of the other people that were going together? He now said, oh, that they had already gone. So me, I felt, oh, okay. And then, of course, I wasn't expecting that, since me, I was going in a bus. I didn't expect that he was going to follow me, because maybe he will follow the other priest or something. So I got to Ekpe, to where they dropped me. It was a trying to remember the name of the I can't remember the name of the parish. It was like the big parish. It was like the parish in Ekpe. It was like a village. It wasn't open. It was a village. That's Saint Augustine.
Okay.
Yes. So they dropped me. I had to ask some of the people there questions. So they had already explained to me what to do. So I took a bike, and they dropped me at, because it was a popular. So they dropped me there. And um so I got there. I asked for him. They showed me where to wait for him. So I waited, and then he came over. So when he came over, I was like, "Oh, have I eaten?" I'm like, "Oh no." So now I said, "Okay." So I can go to the grotto. So I went to the grotto. It's like the Mary grotto. I prayed, and then later that evening, um, around maybe like 8, it was after evening mass, like 8. I was not like I was sleepy, but I was like anticipating, like, okay, where will I sleep? The other people that came, although, to be truthful, there was an event there, so there were a lot of other young people that I saw, but they were not people that I knew. They were not people from, maybe, I don't think they were from Lagos. Maybe they were from other parts, or they were from Ekpede, I don't know, but there were a lot of young people too there. And then Anna asked him that, when I'm ready to sleep, where will I sleep? He now said he would let me know when it's time, that he will send someone to come and get me. I said, okay. So I waited. Later in the evening, he sent one of the boys, I think it was an altar boy, to come and call me. So I called me. It was like um it's like an apartment, and they have rooms, like they have like a parlor, and then they have rooms. So I was sitting in the parlor, and then after a while, he said I can come to the room. So in my head, maybe I'll sleep there. Maybe some other people will join me. So I went inside, and I sat down on the bed. And then he now came to me. And when he came to me, honestly, a part of me, with everything that was happening, I sensed, like, I maybe knew what was going to happen, or I don't know. I kind of knew, what was going. Maybe because of how he was talking to me. When he's talking to me, he would lean in towards me, and then he would like touch my head in a way. So, but I felt, because he was a priest, he wouldn't do anything that, and I was comfortable with him. So I laid down. I sat down on the bed. So he now came and sat down with me. And then he now said that he liked me, and that if not because he's um, you know, a priest, that he did not want to be a priest, and that he likes me, and he would want me to be his girlfriend. So I now said that brother, he's like a brother to me, that because I'm comfortable around him. By this time, his hand was on my lap. He was already like touching me, and because I was wearing a dress, he was pulling my dress up, and so I, I just, I don't know if it was fear, or, I didn't do anything. The only time that I pushed him was when he wanted to kiss me. I pushed him away, and I told him that he should please, that even if I'm going to be his girlfriend, that let me make up my mind
Okay.
first before anything, and I've not had sex with anyone before, and I wouldn't want it to be in a place where I'm not comfortable. And he was like, oh, that it doesn't matter, that that's even better, that he what if he quits priesthood because of me? And I said, no, that he doesn't need to do that, but he should just allow me decide. But at that point, he had pushed me on the bed, and he was tall. When I mean tall, he was tall, like 6 feet tall. He was not fat, but like he was big. So I in my head, like, okay, even if you want to fight this person, you can't fight this person. So just let him have his way. And that was when, he, I would say, raped me or tried to rape me because he couldn't penetrate. It was painful, it was scary, or there was nothing I could have done. I just felt like it would be easier if he just goes ahead and, do it so that I can just live there. I was in a place where nobody knew me. I didn't know anybody there. I didn't want anybody to have. I couldn't even call because I didn't even have a phone. So I just let him, and there was a little blood on the bed. So he removed the sheets and took me to the bathroom that I should shower. I took my bath, and he called somebody to lay the bed with another bed sheet by the time I came out of the bathroom.
How old were you at that time?
I was 16. I had just finished secondary school. I was waiting for jam so that I could sit for jam. And after everything, I just lie down. I had not eaten because it was just the food I ate in the morning before going to the park that I had. I couldn't eat, so I just laid down and I slept off. I woke up the next morning. I still had about 600 or so with me. So I took a bike and I told the bike to take me to where the nearest park was. And I went to the park. When I got to the park, I don't know, I just told the driver that I wanted to go back to Lagos, but I didn't have transport. And the driver said, okay, that where was I coming from? I said I was coming from the church. And he said, so how did I get there? And I told him that I came there with people, but they left without me. And the driver said, okay, so he allowed me enter his bus. And luckily they were, because we were living in Agidingbi then. So they brought me back and they stopped me at Alausa. So I walked from there on the express. I walked from there to the house. I don't know. I, the funny thing, it was because I went on the Wednesday, I came back on Thursday. On Friday, because it was the Easter weekend, on Friday was the day that we're meant to do the procession. And I did it like nothing happened. But I think when it hit me was when we got to, because usually the last place of the procession is at the church, where they nailed Jesus and all, and then Mary had to cry and all of that. And the one thing I remember that day was I cried, but unlike previous times when I had acted, it was like maybe forced cry where I would use rub or I would, you know, think of something terrible and cry. Or that day it was real because the only thing I could think of was what happened 2 nights before. And I cried so much that they were saying it was the best procession they had because Everybody that were watching started crying. You know, people would think, oh, she's a good actor, but I wasn't actually acting. I was actually crying from something that happened the day before. And that day, the priest was there as well because he was part of he came around. He was there, and it was just a roller coaster of emotions. But after that day, I never spoke to him. I avoided him like a plague. I left the youth, and I just stopped going to the Catholic Church. The only times that I've been to the Catholic Church after then was when I probably have issues that I'm dealing with that I can't cope, and I go to the Blessed Sacrament. But aside that, I never went back to the Catholic Church again.
So sorry you had to go through all of that. Thank you. So sorry you had to go through all of that. Thank you. Did you speak to anybody about that event?
I've never spoken to anyone about it. This is the first time I'm speaking to anyone at all about it.
Did he try to talk to you? Did he look for you?
No, he didn't. Even on the Friday at the procession, he acted around me like nothing happened. Greeted me and greeted the other actors like nothing happened. He like he was still going about his normal activities, like nothing happened. It didn't even feel like he even traveled. Like it didn't even feel like he left at all. It felt like nothing, like maybe just your regular day or something. Like from that day, even on Sunday, because I still attended mass on Sunday after that, but that was the last mass I attended. To I never went back to the Catholic Church after then. Never.
I'm so sorry about that again.
Thank you.
So whenever you remember, how do you feel?
I don't. I don't remember.
What do you mean you don't remember?
I just blocked the memory off. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it. Even when maybe I'm watching a film and it's about maybe reverend fathers or reverend sisters, of course I would remember. But immediately I remember, I just shut it out. I don't know how I do it, but I shut it out. I don't want to think about it because I even up to now, right now I don't even know how I'm feeling. I thought about so many things then that I could have done. I thought maybe I should have gone to the parish priest and told him. But then again, I thought I probably just started saying every priest the same way because I started thinking, oh, maybe that time that the parish priest touched me like this, maybe it wasn't an innocent touch. Maybe when I hugged him, maybe he felt something else. I just felt like they were all the same. And it just was bad enough that there were, rumors that, the priests were sleeping with the reverend sisters, so, but everything just felt like it was normal. Maybe it was normal to them. Maybe it was okay. Maybe there were other people who were doing it and it was fine, because why would he want me to be his girlfriend? Did he have another girlfriend, or had he had another girlfriend before me? I just didn't want to think about it. The only times I thought about it was when it happened, that week it happened. But after that, when I left the church, I just shut it out.
So, how do you feel talking about it today?
Honestly, I don't know how I feel. I'm just blank. I'm not sad. I'm not happy. I'm just blank. I'm just, yeah. But it feels good to talk about it, even though there's nothing that can be done about it. There's no consequence, but maybe God will punish him in his own way. But I don't feel anything. I don't know how I feel. I can't explain how I feel.
Well, I do think there are consequences for every actions. Maybe we had talked about it then, maybe there would have been consequences. But talking about it now could still do something. I don't even know.
I don't know if he's still a priest, if he's dead, if he's alive.
Do you know his name?
Yes, I do.
I remember the parish.
Yes, I do.
You remember the year.
Yes, I do.
So, would you like to do something about it?
Well, what do I want to do?
A report. Make it official.
And say what?
What he did.
Who would believe me? It happened over 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Maybe people around then, I don't even know if any of them is still going to that particular parish, that would say, oh, maybe they felt like something was wrong with me, or I don't know. And but I know that the parish priest, who was the parish priest then, he's still the parish priest now. They didn't change him. He's still the person. But I don't know if he, is still there, or if he left. Because again, when they do transfer, they change. There are times when we've had one person, they'll be there for like a year, 2 years, and then they'll bring somebody else. It's only the parish priest that they don't transfer, as often as they transfer the other priests. So I don't know what I'm going to do about it. What if he's not in the country? What can I do that would change whatever happened to me?
I think one of the things, or the very first thing you should do, is what you have just done, speaking out, talking about it. The show is willing to, take whatever action, of course, on your permission, to fish him out and get the justice that you deserve. At the same time, I feel these events, they somehow take a toll on us. Sometimes we try to shut it off. As much as you try to shut it off, you could see the kind of emotions that you had talking about it, reliving that moment. So you can't totally shut it out. It is there. You have to let it out. Talk to somebody about it. Yes, you could feel you're strong, you have everything figured out, but sometimes you need to go through therapy. People who are experts, people who understand what you've been through and how they can bring you out of that situation. You need to talk to them. I know it's been a very long time ago, but I still think you need to.
I don't mind talking to maybe a therapist. Who knows? Maybe it's the reason why I'm still single. Um, I don't think I look at men the same way. I don't enjoy sex. I I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't mind, but I also I don't know if I would ever get justice. There's been one too many cases where women are being raped, or men are being raped or molested, and you talk about it, but nothing happened, or you're told that you're lying and it was your fault. Why didn't you run? Why didn't you fight? What could you, why didn't you report it when it happened?
No. As much as people have these ideas in their head and they keep saying that, putting out the narrative, it still doesn't change the fact that the truth is the truth and it must be put out there. People need to get the help that they deserve. We need to encourage people to speak out. Yes, maybe it shouldn't take this long, but no matter how long it takes, the fact that you have that courage to come out to talk about it, you deserve to get the justice that you need. And be rest assured that you're going to be speaking with a therapist. We'll ensure that you're fine. We'll ensure that we walk that recovery journey with you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So viewers, that's our story. If you would also like to share yours, you can send us a DM on the number you're seeing on your screen right now. You can also reach out to us on any of our social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at The Safe Hub. Also, in the comments, we want to hear your opinions. We want to hear your suggestions. What do you think the show can do for this person? What do you think this person could have done when that situation happened? Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Thank you.